Vishnu Gururdevo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Harihi Om. Repeat after me. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narsimham what is that?
Narasimha.
Wait, let me tell you.
Narasimha Jayanti.
Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Jagaranam Bhishanam Bhadram. Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham. Once more. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham. This is the Satsang. Today is being Narasimha Jayanti. Best way to start with his name. And who is this Narasimha Bhagwan? He is Ugra. Ugra means he's got the tej. Ferocious. Sometimes, many times, always, when we want to change something in our life, we have to be really invoke within us that ferociousness to drop away that is not working for us in life and hold on to that which is working for us. Many times we have our shortcomings, we have some of thought fixations, we have many times we have our the default settings in our life which we don't realize, but it's just going on and on and on and on. We keep thinking in the same way, our mind keeps going in that direction. And if we want to change, we have to bring out this Ugrapan from within. We have to invoke Narasimha Bhagwan. We have to invoke that ferociousness inside in order to drop away these habits, not only at physical level but also at our mental level. Just 2-3 days ago, before I came, there was one boy and he got a job. When he came to Australia as a student, he got a job in a swimming pool as an instructor. And he went and requested, please give me this job. I am really, I just come to Australia and I am really in need of a job. And that lady helped him and not helped him in the sense, she said, okay, give me your resume. He's an Indian champion, and he got the job. But now she was giving him only 6 hours a day. And he wanted more because that doesn't cover his rent, and once a week is not enough for him. So he applied somewhere else in some other swimming pool, and they said, yeah, we can give you 16 hours a week, no problem. And we need reference. So he asked her, can you give a reference for me? She said, yes. She gave it. And then he got and they gave him the shifts which were clashing with the previous job where he was working. So he was in conundrum. Now what do I do? How do I? This is my first job in Australia. She gave me the job and this, that. what do I do? And he was just in such a big conundrum in his mind, didn't know what decision to take. This is our story also many times, to get married or not to get married, to eat or not to eat, to have one more dosa or one more idli, or not to have one more dosa or one more idli. And we have to, no, I'm not going to have it, otherwise it's going to be detrimental to my health. So for this boy, he said, Swamiji, what do I do? I'm not able to make a decision. So I said, okay, you keep the problem on the side and you go to sleep. When you get up, you will get the answer. And he went to sleep in the afternoon after lunch. And then he got up. And he didn't call me that what decision. He said, Swamiji, I made the decision. I already sent the email that I would like to work with the previous person. But if she doesn't have more shifts for me, I can't do anything. I need more shifts. And I told her that I'm ready to work with her if in future she has some shifts. And everything went okay. But in his mind, he was continuously playing the cassette again and again and again and again and getting disturbed. So we need sometimes, either you sleep over it or you bring out this fierceness within you to not be disturbed by it. Ugram Veeram. Veeram is the वीर को क्या बोलेंगे इंग्लिश में? वेलर. So and again it is very similar, and it should be available at our fingertips whenever we begin any project and whenever we do anything in life. Now if we are here in a satsang, I should come with full enthusiasm, you should listen with full enthusiasm, hopefully, and again, what is this? They called me for food and they are making me give a lecture. Not half-hearted. Anything.
Sometimes you are impulsive nature of the mind.
That is Veeram.
And then
Yes, that is because we are not trained it. Or it could be the prarabdha also. Some deep impressions from within which are coming out as those impulses. But if we have lived a disciplined life, a lot of control over the impulses can be brought about. But whenever you are the least alert, that time the impulses take the better of us. Like anger, reaction, eating. You are able to hear?
Yes.
So Veeram is required whenever we are getting involved in the world as our what happened?
So she went to check the rice.
You sit
That's
here.
okay. Keep on. You want me to turn on?
Off
Switch
it,
off.
off it.
Switch off, but it doesn't.
Chalo. Suddenly in the middle of the satsang, rice came up. So a little bit of distraction. So a great amount of tato yuddhaya yudhyasva. So this valor is required. For what? Sukha dukkha samay kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yuddhasva na shochati na kankshati. To remain equanimous in our daily life, when we are presented with opposites in life, we require that virya, the Veeram. It's coming from virya, it's coming from vitality, it comes from inspiration, it comes from the direction we flow our energy in. And we need to invoke that. We need to involve in everything in life with great enthusiasm. If we do it half-heartedly, then everything will be as if push, 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 push. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, and who is the most Ugra and who is the most Veer? He is Mahavishnu in the form of our Narasimha Bhagwan, who at a moment's notice of his devotees' call appeared in the most ferocious form to protect him. And whenever we are surrounded by unwanted or unrequired circumstances, events, or forces, at that time, if we genuinely from our heart chant this mantra, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, then the Lord certainly comes and helps us. I'll give you one example. I went in 2019, I went to Pune. And there is one lady, now she's passed away. Last year she took Samadhi. I can't remember her Swami name, but she was a Grahastha. She was a freedom fighter. She was 96 years old, 95 years old. And Swamiji told me, have you met Mrunalini Joshi? I said, no. I said, yeah. So just he mentioned her. And whenever he mentions someone, I always go and find a way to meet her. And in 2019, I went, and the person who organized Swamiji's lectures in Pune, he came to my Satsang in Pune. I said, hey, I want to meet Mrunalini Joshi. So he says, yes, Swamiji, I will take you. And we went. Amma, you won't believe that 95-year-old lady, with pain, so many pains in her body, she engaged me for 3 hours, full of anecdotes, full of Mahatmas that she met in her life, full of satsang, talking about the various scriptures, talking about the various experiences of her life. 3 hours, full of laughter and knowledge. And then suddenly, 2.5, 3 hours later, she says, Swami, I am tired now. I need to lie down. And she laid down on the bed. And then then I said, okay, I touched her feet and I was about to go. Again she got up. No, you take something. I said, Amma, she giving me some fruit. I said, okay, this fruit is okay, but give me some book that you have written. And she had written, now they have discovered she has written 17 books. And that time, you have heard of Jnaneshwar Maharaj?
Yeah.
So Jnaneshwar Maharaj, youngest sister, Mukta Bai, she wrote a biography of Mukta Bai from the eyes of Mukta Bai.
Oh.
She says it just happens. And then there was one Shankar Maharaj, a great Avdhut, whose guru was Akkalkot Maharaj. So she wrote the whole Jeevani of Shankar Maharaj. Very beautiful.
That's going on now.
Auntie. And that lady, she told me, now I'm coming to the point, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu. She told me that one of the persons who used to come to her, she had some disease, cancer, something, and she was on her last throes on the intensive care. Everyone had given up. She was hardly conscious, unconscious, coma, coming out, going in, coming out. And she heard the doctors, when you see it in movies that the person is conscious, but people are thinking they are gone, and she's listening to everything. The doctors are saying she's gone, any moment she'll be going, everything. And suddenly her the graph became straight line, and her eyes are open. And in that last moment, she remembered her guru. Who is her guru? Akkalkot Maharaj. Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara. And she just in her mind, she can't even speak, she just remembered. And miracle happened. In the doorway, in spite of all the other people, in the doorway she saw her Guru Maharaj standing there. And he just gave her Ashirwad like that. She's seeing that. And from his fingers, some rays of energy came to her. and permeated her, and then she became quiet, closed her eyes, went to sleep. The straight line started again showing the graph that she has become alive, and next morning there was no disease. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum. This is one physical ailment. Similarly, for our mental, better to remember the Lord rather than our problems. Who doesn't have problems? So when Bhagwan says, Sukha Dukkha Same Kritva Labha Labho Jaya Jayo, so the energy that is required, you have to, on a war footing, we have to maintain the equanimity. It doesn't happen just because we wish. Because opposites will keep coming at us every moment of our life till the last breath. Question is, with inspiration, with commitment, with single pointedness, are we able to invoke the Lord who is ever equanimous towards all the opposites of life? See? And this has to be done on a war footing. It cannot happen, oh, maybe I will practice equanimity, maybe tomorrow I will start. Or, Bhagavad Gita says practice equanimity, but, it is very difficult, it is a very uphill task to practice equanimity. How do you balance the mind when the nature of the mind is to be withdrawal and involvement, and you are talking about equanimity? It sounds nice, but it is very difficult. Such a person can never be equanimous. Because mindset is that it is difficult. You need to, so Bhagavan, what does he say? Tato yuddhaya yuddhasva, na shochati na kankshati. See, all our, leaking out of our energy, of our focus is because we do shochati and kankshati. We are anxious and we regrets in our life. Shochati is regret, guilts of past, and kankshati is expectations and anxieties of the future. Will I realize or not? Drop it. What has happened till today if we have not realized? Life is still going on. Huh? Will Bhagwan give me darshan? What will you do after darshan? What will you do after darshan? Bhagwan gives you darshan. That Dhruv Maharaj got the darshan of Bhagwan. Still he went and took the revenge of all the tribals who killed his brother Uttanapad. And then Naradji had to come and tell, hey man, you have had the darshan of Bhagwan, and people know that you had a great darshan, and now you are in his name you are killing. How will it come? Suddenly the penny dropped for him, and he changed his actions and withdrew. The moment he was reminded by Naradji, he handed over the kingdom to his son and went away to the forest. And we don't want to go anywhere. We want to continue indulging in our life. What do we want to do? We want to do shochati and we want to do kankshati. We don't want to remain in the now. Many years ago, 2018, Mom was getting operated and they gave her a wrong medicine and she was in ICU. Her whole body was retaining water. Eyes were rolled up. She was going to go. And my sister was there, I was there. We were called into the ICU and we are both there. And she says, she's looking at me, my sister, Dada, what is going to happen? I said, I don't know. So we should prepare. She's saying, we should prepare. I said, yes, only for the next moment. Only for the next moment. Whatever life is going to come. I didn't know that I said that. But yesterday she reminded me. She said, Dada, this is what you said. And it has stayed with me. That you should always prepare for the next moment. Not for tomorrow, not for day after tomorrow, for the next moment. That is alertness. That is tato yuddhaya yuddhasva. Extreme alertness, extreme vigilance. For what? To whatever life is going to present us, face it with inspiration, face it with as a courageous one, with full vitality, without any complaints. And that is only possible when we invoke the divine, who is like that. As an individual, we cannot. See?
Swamiji, I find in many of the lives of the saints, they always say, in my last days I may not remember you. Please now let me, at that time, please don't mind that, come and help me.
Yeah, they say that, yes.
Why do they have that kind of, saying to say that?
They are making sure, that last moment is, they are taking out an insurance for the last moment. You understand? Why do we take out insurance? That in our old age, if something happens, the insurance takes care of our bills and foots the bill, medical insurance, car insurance, whatever. So, all such Mahatmas, still body is there. Very rare few are realized ones. So here there are Mahatmas who are saying, if you are saying that, as you are mentioning, they are taking out an insurance that we don't know which way the body is going to go. We don't know which way the mind is going to go. Nowadays so many dementia is happening, Alzheimer's is happening, this is happening, memory loss is happening. So they are saying, at the last moment, please, you come and remind me that you are the most important one. Insurance. So when are you doing it? While you are conscious. At that time what happens? We don't know. You know about Raghavan, no? Raghavan and Jayashree.
Yes.
In Glen Waverly they live. Jayashree and Raghavan.
Yeah, Amma knows Jayashree Amma, Jayashree from Melbourne.
So Jayashree's husband, I'm talking about many years ago now. He had lung cancer, and I was going to India the next day, and I came to know. I went to the hospital, and he was in his bed. All the family is gathered together because doctors have given up. They can't do anything. And he asked the doctors what? He said, give me only so much painkillers that I remain conscious. I don't want to go into coma. I don't want to become unconscious if you pump me with so much medicine. Keep me conscious. Doctor said, why do you want to be conscious and experience so much pain? Because breathing was a big problem. All cancer had spread in his lungs. So he says, no, I want to be conscious enough to remember the name of the Lord. Not Amma, name of the Lord. And his mantra was Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And he was chanting. Continuously, you could see, even when I went, his lips are going on. Next day he passed away. But mantra is going on. He's not talking to anyone. He's not interested. He's not even acknowledging anyone. All he wants is to chant the name of the Lord and remember him. See, this requires courage. So it's very easy to find a solution for the pain and forget the Lord. Many people say, let there be a stroke, let there be a heart attack, and I'm gone in one moment. But to go consciously, it is a great feat. That is what Mahatmas are doing, that they want to live. Whenever that last moment comes, consciously, living consciously means what? Living consciously means that the body becomes incapable of reflecting the consciousness, and you have recognized that you are the consciousness, and you are not disturbed by the body slowly slipping away. You are just watching it. That's it. Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham. That possibility is everywhere. Jwalantam, the fire, Sarvato, everywhere, Mukham, he has the mouth everywhere. See, we are thinking that we are here and the Lord is somewhere. Even though we have understood, we have studied the scriptures, but still our basic fundamental outlook towards God is He is separate to us and we are here. That is majority of the people. But the truth is that everything is in the Lord. Everything is inclusive in the Lord. Just like every wave is inclusive in the water, every ornament is inclusive in the gold. Similarly, everything in this universe is inclusive in the divine. There is no other option available for this universe. But we never look at it from that point of view. We always look at it from individual point of view. So when it says Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Mukham means like we have see Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, the one who is, it's not that he is having head everywhere or he is having the mouth everywhere. It means he alone is expressing through every mouth, he alone is expressing through every, head and feet and etc. He is continuously burning. What is burning? The life is burning through you at this moment. It is continuously effulgent. What is that mantra? Just now I did Dakshinamurti retreat. Nana Chidra Ghato Sthata Deepa Prabha Bhaswaram. How is he? This is a little bit one level down. When I say that everything in this universe is in the world, in the Lord, that is one vision. The other is, if I as an individual I want to think of the Lord, then how do I think? Nana Chitra Ghata Udara Tatha. So, yeah, that Lord in my heart, who is of the nature of effulgence, who is ever bright, who is ever effulgent, He alone is expressing, He alone is reflecting on the mirror of the mind. He alone is, from that reflection, expressing expressing through the senses. That light alone is expressing out of the senses and illuminating the whole world. And He alone is the material with which the whole world is made. See, yesterday evening, Satsang, Kathopanishad. What is the difference between, we are doing Kathopanishad, first part, third chapter, almost towards the conclusion. What is the difference between Jagat and Sansar? What is the difference between Jagat and Sansar? Have you ever thought about it? We say Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar, isn't it? And if Jagat is there, then why another word Sansar? So what is the difference? Tell me, I am asking.
So Ishavasya says.
Now you answer, Ishavasya says whatever, but what is the difference between Jagat and Sansar? Whether it is logic, it will be only logical, technical. What is the difference?
Attachment to Jagat is samsara.
Very nice. Very nice. Jagat we did not create. Jagat is Lord's creation. Sansar is our creation.
Oh.
Oh. Very simple. But see, so Jagat is of the nature of divine. Sat Swarup. But Samsar is individual creation, born out of identification.
The Lord is putting us through the samsara,
Aye.
through our karma.
That is, then you think about everything in that way, not only some specific situations. And when you think that everything is the Lord's doing, then you are not available for anything. You are only available to the Lord. Such devotees are very few and rare. So, Jagat Jagat is the Lord is the Upadan Karan and Nimitta Karan of the Jagat. He is the material cause of the Jagat. He is the creator of the world. Jagat means world. You understand Sanskrit word? Okay. So he is the material of the world and he is the creator of the world. And in that world comes this body also. In that world, this body also comes, and his ability, his expression, which is expressing through this equipment, is also his. Till here is Ishwar Srishti, isn't it? That the body is created or the world is created and he expresses through the world. In that part, somewhere it is as Sat, somewhere it is Sat and Chit, here it is Sat Chit Anand. Then where is the sansar? This consciousness that I am forgets that I am of the Swarup of the Bhagwan and start thinking I am only this body. I give up the totality to think only as an individual. Only this I, only this. I forget Sarvatomukham. I forget that I am the Sahasra Shirsha. That is my nature. I take only, I am only this mind, I am only this senses, I am only this mouth, I am only this body. And immediately, from that very moment, samsara begins for that individualized consciousness. Sansar is for individual consciousness, and Jagat is not other than the Ishvara. So, from Ishvara's point of view, or we can say for pure consciousness point of view, Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar is one. It has got there is no difference. We have created the difference, Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar, because we think we are an individual, so there must be someone called total. And there is this world which was before and after before I came, the world was there. After I go, the world will be there. And how is this possible? I think I am only a teeny, meeny fry in this whole big game. But truth is, you are the sutradhar of this whole game as consciousness. And to recognize that you are the substratum of the total leela that is going on, so that we do not get caught up by the comings and goings of the world, we are invoking Narasimha Bhagwan, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Mrityor Mrityum. आगे क्या है?
But in utter
No,
confusion.
Narasimham. Narasimham.
Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram.
Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram. What you are saying?
No, in all this confusion, we are covered with the confusion. And how do we get the help of the Lord?
That is what did I say for last 10-15 minutes? That is the solution. That is the solution. We have to.
A person, he does regular puja, everything, very, very constructive life, love everybody. But
Puja.
he has a reaction when something happens and he reacts in a very negative way.
No.
Why
It happens something from past.
That is
Something,
prarabdha.
maybe prarabdha, maybe some unfinished business. Akkalkot Maharaj used to react so much. And now because Narasimha Bhagwan came and killed Hiranyakashipu, has he become bad? If Akkalkot Maharaj, if you went to Akkalkot, you read his biography, Akkalkot Maharaj would take a stick and hit you. He used to hit you, he used to abuse you.
Even Gajan.
And he's a Mahatma. If you want everything to be goody-goody in life, it is only one aspect of life.
So Mahatmas get angry.
Anger expresses out of them. When you say Ugram, Veeram, Mahavishnum, Ugram, it will express as that sometimes. But there is no owner of that anger. There is no owner of that anger. So who is the Mahatma? Who sees without seeing, who hears without hearing, who eats without eating. So there is no, the erring personality is not there behind. And who are we? Same thing is happening, but we are owning it. In Mahatma there is no owner. So in that, and in the end, if you say he gets angry, what is wrong in getting angry? Yes, if you think you are an angry person, you must try to pacify that anger. But there are situations. Arjuna had to invoke the anger in order to fight the war, otherwise he was going into depression. Tato yuddhaya yuddhasva. Not only he had to invoke the anger, he had to invoke that all the wrongs that have been done against him and his family, the Pandavas. If Krishna did not remind him of all that, he would not have fought. He would have gone into depression and checked out of the war. War would have still taken place. But if you want to win the war, then who should be your Sarthi? Your Sarthi should be Krishna. Sarthi means the charioteer should be Krishna. Who is Krishna? The equanimous principle. Equanimous principle. So he is there to guide you in the right direction. So are we equanimous? And where it is required, we must invoke the anger. If as an individual, where it is, if situation has come and I need to become activated, if a child is going to be crushed by a oncoming car, and I say, no, I don't know, it's okay, it's whatever life, that is the prarabdha of that child. That is not right. If that situation is coming, I must invoke. I must be fearless, and I must jump and try to save that child. Same way if in schools all this wagging goes on. Why? Because the child is too meek. Then what is to be done? He has to invoke the anger. He has to invoke his energy and vitality and stand up to the people who are ragging. Once he does that and he shows his madness in front of them, they will be afraid of him. See? So we have to, as an individual I'm talking, but when you're talking about Mahatmas, the situation, that person who has come, he demands that type of response. So who is a Mahatma? Who is a mirror? He has got nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Life is expressing, it's the divine, the individuality is missing, but the world is seeing an individuality in the Mahatma. But from Mahatma's point of view, there is no individuality. He is surrendered to the divine consciousness, and that divine consciousness is expressing. Now, divine consciousness by itself cannot function. Why did I say that?
So it cannot function. So
Divine's conscious, as we are at this moment, as an individual, if you want to understand, divine consciousness by itself cannot illuminate anything.
So it needs
Because it is of the nature of illumination. It needs a medium. Just like the sun needs a medium of a mirror to illuminate a dark cave, exactly the same way the conscious needs the mirror of the mind to illuminate the darkness that our mind is. When you wake up in the morning, that consciousness reflects, the mind gets activated when you get up in the morning. The light of consciousness reflects on it, and that reflected light of consciousness then spreads out through your senses to illuminate the world. This is the principle. But it needs to be activated. Otherwise, are we going to continuously sleep throughout the day? But the nature of the mind is what? Sometimes being activated, sometimes unactivated, isn't it? Unactivated mind is called sleep. Unexpressed mind is called sleep. Activated mind is called waking and dream. Now, what is happening there? The divine cannot help anyone without the medium of the mind. Now, you look at it this way. This came in our Drigdrishya Vivek So it's fresh and it's a nice thought. You have got two point of views. If your attention is on your mind, how you should think, and if your attention is on the consciousness, how do you think? So if my attention, I'm looking at this example, the dark room, the mirror and the sun, how do I look at the mirror? If my attention is on the mirror, who is lighting up the dark room? If your attention is on the mirror, you will say, the mirror is illuminating the dark room backed by the sun. Can the mirror by itself illuminate the dark room?
No.
Not possible. So mirror is illuminating the dark room backed by the light of the sun. This is if our attention is on individuality, or if our attention is on the mind, we'll say the mind is illuminating the whole world backed by the consciousness. But must remember, backed by the consciousness. What do we say? I am seeing the world, I am hearing the world, I am doing this, I am doing that. We forget the consciousness. The second point is what? If our attention is on the sun, then, hey sun, did you illuminate the whole the dark room? He says, yeah, I illuminated the dark room through the medium of mirror. That's what he will say. Because directly the sun is there, but the cave is so deep. If you go to Vashishta Gufa, the sunlight doesn't go in. It's pitch dark inside. You've been there. It's pitch dark. It's only 50 feet deep. So it needs a mirror, a medium, in order to enter into the cave. Same way, the consciousness by itself cannot do anything because it's the non-doer. But if it needs to, if as an individual we are into this, I have to do something. So if our attention is on the consciousness, consciousness is illuminating the world through the medium of the mind. The variety is only in the mind, not in the consciousness. And the mind cannot function without the consciousness. Mirror cannot illuminate the dark room without the sunlight. It has to fall on the mirror. So now, if you understand this relationship, then what will you do? You will keep your mirror of your mind at the right angle. You will make sure that the mirror is always clean so that the light is completely reflecting without any dirt on it, without any corruption on it. You will recognize that the mirror by itself or the mind by itself cannot illuminate this world because it is inert. It will be able to illuminate only if the light of the sun or the light of the self is reflecting upon it.
So what made Hiranyakashipu to deny the divine and be
Body
arrogant?
identification. Body identification. Only one reason. Only body identification. Ravan also same thing. Body identification. Hiranyaksha also same thing. Body identification. It is eternal. This thing is going on eternally. Only some selected few who have surrendered, who come to abide in the consciousness, they are able to drop away this.
These religious fanatics.
Leave them, Amma. I'm not into all that. So many are there. What can we do about them? Hiranyakashipu was a fanatic. He was from Hiranyakashipu's point of view, Prahlad was also a fanatic. From Britishers' point of view, all the freedom fighters were fanatic. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So are we here to establish the world into this and that, or are we here to establish the consciousness and be subjective and come to recognize what is happening here? Where is my vision going wrong?
So you come to the conclusion that you are responsible for yourself.
Everything.
Only.
You are responsible for your own happiness. And the only way to do that, as the Dakshinamurti is showing, that if your attention is on your mind, meaning on your thoughts, understand the thoughts are becoming illuminated by the light of consciousness. And you are the light of consciousness. When have you not been not conscious? Waking you are conscious, dream you are conscious, deep sleep you are conscious, in samadhi you are conscious. There has never been a time that you have become unconscious. But in your that consciousness that you are, if a stimuli of thought comes, that light reflects on that and you say it is a thought of seeing. If another stimuli comes and your light of consciousness falls on it and reflects, you say, oh, it is a thought of sound, it is a thought of smell or whatever. And this way you keep, the intellect keeps collecting data. See? And this is how we have been trained. We don't even need to be trained. You only refine, but everyone is born that way. But now what we are doing is, are we here to establish that the world is, or are we here to establish that the consciousness is? And what is going to help us? Because this problem of religious fanatics and religion and ignorance and avidya kama karma and the trigunatmika shakti and these different paths of yoga and kundalini and vedanta and this and that, it is going to go on and there will be confusion if we are not centered. If you want to take full responsibility, then what is, at this moment, what is my experience? If my attention is on the mind, the light of consciousness that I am is using the medium of the mind to illuminate the world. If I am the consciousness, as a witnessing consciousness, I'm not talking you are abiding. If you are abiding in consciousness, this dialogue is null and void. If you are the witnessing consciousness, this is for intellectual appreciation. Then as a consciousness, I need the medium called the mind in order to illuminate the world. So both ways, your attention is falling back on yourself only. As a mind, you are dependent on the consciousness, and as a consciousness, you are dependent on the mind in order to establish this world. That is called equanimity. But what we do, we say we are the mind, we forget we are the consciousness, and with the mind, this thought is troubling, that thought is troubling, this experience is not a good experience, that experience is a good experience. We get lost in the variety rather than mind as a principle.
So in what kind of frame can you go to the temple?
This frame. Or as a devotee, you can surrender. As if you have taken full responsibility that you are the conscious principle, then go with this and be ready to bite the bullet.
Be ready to?
Bite the bullet. Be ready to bite the bullet. Dakshinamurti says, even both ways it says. He says that Guru who gives me this vision is Sri Dakshinamurti. That alone is the Ishvara. But in the same line, he says that any form that you have given to the Lord is also illuminated by the consciousness that I am through the mirror of the mind. So either you take that form to be the Ishvara and surrender, or you see that form also illuminated by the consciousness that you are. Jwalantam sarvato mukham ugram veeram mahavishnum jwalantam sarvato mukham. This consciousness is continuously burning, continuously effulgent like the sun. Not even one moment of letting go. Life is continuously throbbing through us. Whether we are asleep, whether we are waking, whether we are in meditation, whatever. What is the next one? Narasimham Bhishanam. Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram. His Bhishanata. Bhishanata is this ugrata, this terrible form of him is also Bhadra, is also auspicious. Because when Narasimha Bhagwan took that form, even his wife Lakshmi was shivering. Even Brahmaji, the creator, was shivering. All the
Only Prahlada was not.
only Prahlad was calm, and the stuti came out of him. Na? But all, including his wife, because his wife had, Lakshmi Mata, I had not seen her husband in this Ugra form, Bhishan form. So everyone was shivering. So they ask, only you can quieten, we cannot do anything. See, you only can quieten him. But when it comes to the ego, when it comes to our shortcomings, when it comes to our sukha dukkha, labha alabha, jaya,
Abhajaya.
sukha dukkha, sukha dukkha samekrita, labha labhau, alabha, and jaya and ajaya, and kankshati and shochati. You need to invoke Narasimha Bhagwan. You need to invoke the courage. You need to invoke the commitment that I need to remain. I am the one who is other than them. They are coming in my presence and going away. They are only formations of the mind. They are only thoughts in the mind. Regret is a thought in the mind. Anxiety is a thought in the mind. Joy is a thought in the mind. Sorrow is a thought in the mind. You identify with that thought and face the consequences. So are we going to feed the energy that we are, the consciousness that we are, to these, how should I say, incomplete thoughts? Or are we going to use this energy to be the complete one? Because mind is functioning, mind is the reflection that is going on. What is the angle you are putting? Are you being the mirror? Or are you being the reflection on the mirror? Or are you being the pure consciousness that is there? That is the ultimate way. The reflection in the mirror and the mirror and the actual sun, the shape of the actual sun and the reflection of it in the mirror is exactly the same. Qualities are exactly the same. So the consciousness here and the infinite consciousness, all the properties are exactly the same. If you want to, it is also Satchidananda. Atma and Paramatma is exactly the same. You understand? But we are lost not in the consciousness. We are lost in the variety. We are lost in the variety. We are not only lost in the variety of the world. In that world, we have become so creative. We have become lost in the variety of gods also. And we forget. Bhagavad Gita tells, Krishna Bhagwan tells.
மீட்டிங் இருக்கு எனக்கு போகணும்
Shastra.
பரவாயில்ல மழை இருக்கு sorry I have to go sorry.
We'll conclude. Already only 5-6 minutes left. So we have to make sure. Okay? So we have to make sure where we are focused. We are focused on variety or we are focused on the consciousness. If we are focused on the consciousness, are we focused on the ego or are we focused on the equanimity? These are the first steps.
See, we hear a pravachan, then we feel what is it? But again you fall into the slump, like.
Because you have chosen to.
What happens?
You have chosen to. You have chosen to. You think my mind was not thinking like you once upon a time? It was.
It's a prarabdha, we say it's
no,
prarabdha.
not prarabdha. It is a repetitive cycle. It is default setting. You have accepted somewhere deep in your within yourself that you, after the pravachan, I am very inspired. After the pravachan, I slip back to the same. And you have repeated in your mind too many times, and it has become a thought fixation. Mind says, oh, this is what you want. In the pravachan, I will be excited. After the pravachan, I'll go back to my old ways. And it keeps doing that. Now you catch that it is doing that, and be the conscious principle, be the sun, be the divine consciousness that you are. For that we invoke word Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram, that Bhishanata, that Ugrata, we invoke that Lord Narasimha is, we invoke that for because it is auspicious. Because it is auspicious. And what will be the result of invoking him? Mrityor Mrityum. क्या आ गया लास्ट वाला? Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham. Because he is the remover of the fear of death. He is the death of the death. Mrityor Mrityum. He is the death of the death. And therefore, and that is the biggest fear that a humankind is living with. That is fear of death. As a seeker, as a seeker who has done a little bit of practice, even if you do japa or whatever sadhanas you are doing, if you are surrendered to the Lord, you are taking His name, you have love for the heart, it must express in our daily life as fearlessness.
It is a problem.
And fearlessness is from fearlessness is from deception of other people. We are not continuously afraid. I think he's going to manipulate me. I think he's going to take the better of me.
See, when the COVID came, landed on us, how we reacted.
That we didn't react. Mind reacted.
Yes.
I keep taking that way. I will never say I reacted. So that alertness you have to bring about. The more you bring it about in your language, slowly, someday it will click. When you got married, you didn't know what marriage is, but people kept saying, you are the wife now, you are the wife now, you are the wife now. You started believing you are the wife. Then as the days go, I am the devotee of the Lord, I am the devotee of this Lord, I am the devotee of Murugan, I am the devotee of Murugan. There are so many gods, but you created a mindset that you are a devotee of Murugan. Again, thought fixation. So similarly, now, either you remain with Murugan and or whoever God is, your God, and surrender completely. Surrender means you must go. When you remember Him, you are no longer there. You merge into Him. You lose your body consciousness. And that will lead to fearlessness. First is fearlessness of deception. Second is fearlessness of death. Such a person invites, hey, why are you late? Chinmayanji used to say. Or many Mahatmas have said the same thing. Why are you late? Because you recognize death is not an event. Death is a principle.
Chinmayanji will shout at the latecomer.
He must have shouted at death also. Why did you come late? See, so in this manner, we'll repeat again. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Narasimham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram, Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram, Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham, Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham. Two more times. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram, Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram, Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham, Mrityum Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Nrusimham Bhishanam Bhadram Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham. So on this Narasimha Jayanti, this is the thought that just appeared out of the blue.
It is so nice, Swamiji. Beautiful.
And
We are very grateful.
most important point here is to be subjective, not objective in our approach. And if we can't contemplate on the consciousness, contemplate on Narasimha to burn away, drive away all the shortcomings that come to persecute us out from outside forces or within. Because who is Narasimha Bhagwan? He is Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham. He is the all pervasive one. He is the death of the death. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
It's a great privilege, Swami, that is